Guys, do you see me as just one more chapter? Welcome or welcome back to the channel. Hi friends, welcome or welcome back to the channel, and I'm so glad you guys tuned in. Did I say welcome or welcome back? I meant to say that if I didn't. Today I am doing my July reading wrap up, and guys, it was a pretty good reading month. Like, surprisingly, I was in a slump at the beginning of the month, and then I was in a slump like the last few days, so I'm very shocked I still read as many books I read. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it. The total books, I read 12 books this month, and I had math. I had 10 physical and 2 Kindle reads. So let me go to my little tracker. I'm gonna put this little tracker there again so you guys can see the books, but we're gonna go ahead and hop right into it and go over the books. So the first one I read was Minx by Sophie Lark, and this was the first book I've ever read by Sophie Lark. I have a few of her books, but guys, I'm gonna be honest with you, I did not enjoy this one as much as I thought I would. It wasn't that it was bad, it was just very cringy to me. Certain things was kind of like, I got like a little bit of the ick, and I was just like, I don't know if this is me. This is for me. But I did give it a 3.5 stars. I don't think I care for it enough to round it up to 4 stars, so I'm gonna stick to 3.5. But like I said, it is really good. I get the storyline. It was just certain parts that just made me cringe, and I was like, yeah, no, this is this is not for me. But then next, where is the next book, guys? They're just all okay, here we go. I read The Inmate by Frida McFadden. I have entered my thriller era again. I haven't read a thriller, I feel like, in a while, and so it feels like, oh my gosh, y'all, it feels like I read this book so long ago. Like, the fact that I only read this less than 31 days ago is insane. But yes, I read this one, and what did I give this one? I think I gave it a 4 star. I want to say I gave it a 4 star. Let's see, we're gonna go to Goodreads because your girls never remember what I gave books. But look, thinking about it, I'd say a 4 star, yes. And so, y'all, the twist, the hook, I don't know how she does it. Like, it's just like you wouldn't even expect it. But yes, it was really good. I'm trying to think, how do I explain it? But basically what happens is, I also didn't explain Minx, but that book is basically an escort and a guy ends up like working together, basically. I don't even know how to explain that one, y'all, because it's just, I don't want to explain it and then ruin it. But basically 2 people, it's a love story. But this one, there's a nurse who decides to take a job at a penitentiary, or men's maximum security prison, and one of the guys that happened to be in there is a guy that she actually put in there years ago when they were kids. And so we basically go back and forth from them to meeting each other back in the jail, because she's a nurse, he's one of the inmates, and we flip back and forth from the night everything happened into why he got arrested or why he was in prison, and their connection now in the present. And then yeah, it's a twist, y'all. Y'all not gonna expect it. I promise you, you will not expect it. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like I said, 4 stars. And then, oh my gosh, I cannot wait to talk about these 2 books, because these were probably some of my favorite reads of the month. Guys, I have finally started reading the Chestnut Spring series, and oh my gosh, why did no one tell me not to? Well, people did tell me to read it sooner. I'm just a procrastinator, and I just kept putting it off. So I cannot even blame other people. I can only blame myself. But y'all, this book was these two books were so good. So the first one I read is Flawless, which you don't really have to read them in order, I don't think, but it makes sense because Flawless definitely is like a spinoff. Well, Heartless is definitely a spinoff from Flawless. Like, you won't really understand some of the backstory if you don't read Flawless first. But yes, oh my gosh. Oh, y'all, this book, I ordered me a Chestnut Springs little crew neck, and I cannot wait to wear it because, y'all, oh oh my gosh, I actually read it on my Kindle, so I didn't even I annotated it in my Kindle and I bought it on Kindle, but I feel like I'm eventually gonna actually read the paperback and physically annotate it because but the guy's name, I think his name is Brett, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure it is Brett. I don't know why. I can tell you I can tell you Heartless characters real quick. I think it's Brett though. I'm trying to think of the brother's name. Well, y'all know this is a thing we always have to go through. Rhett, that's what it is. Rhett, not Brett. Okay, Rhett. So Rhett Eaton is a bull rider. He is a celebrity. And Summer, yes. Yeah, her name's Summer, right? Y'all, why can I never remember people's names, bro? Okay, yes, Summer. So Summer is someone at the agency that he's signed with, and basically she is here to help him fix his image, because his image is not the best at the moment. So she actually ends up going to where he lives, which he lives on a ranch with his family, with his dad and his brothers and all of them. And she actually ends up moving there for the 2 or 3 months that this arrangement is supposed to be for them. And yes, obviously y'all can see by the cover, it obviously turns into more. But first of all, I just love this world. I love this town, the people. It is literally just so beautiful. I ate this book up, y'all. Oh, and then to top it off, that one, I immediately read this one, and y'all, I didn't think it could get any better, and it just got 10 times better. Heartless, oh my gosh, I could literally talk about Heartless. If I had to choose one, I'm sorry, I'm choosing Heartless. But y'all, this one is a small town. Well, it's all in a small town, but this one is a single dad. So you have Cade Eaton and Willa. And Willa ends up being his babysitter for his son, or nanny. She becomes a live-in nanny for the summertime. And yes, they call him Daddy Cade for a reason, and he deserves it. But y'all, and then the little boy, first of all, y'all, I don't think I've really read books where the kids play such a big role, but oh my goodness, y'all, the little boy in this book, my heart, I have never loved a little boy in a book so much. This boy was precious. And then him and Willa's just relationship as the nanny, it's just so beautiful, so wholesome. He loves her, and they just have the best time in the world together. I believe as much as she makes him happy as a little boy, I believe he brings her so much joy too. I'm talking about they're real people, but y'all understand what I'm saying. I believe that Willa and the little boy, which the little boy, dang it, y'all, why can't I remember this little boy's name? Oh my gosh, y'all, Luke, that's his name. But yes, Luke and Willa, literally the cutest little nanny kid duo in the world. And then even Luke's connection with his dad Cade, and the way Cade cares for him as a single dad, Like, it is just literally all so cute. I do not know how Elsie Silver did it. I feel like if I was her, I would have cried writing this book because it's just that beautiful. It's literally so beautiful, and I'm gonna put it down now because I could literally talk about that book over and over and over again. Okay, but next we have, okay, this one was actually an arc that I read, but it's Out on the Limb by Hannah Bonham Young, I think is how you pronounce it. But this one is actually an accidental pregnancy. And before y'all get mad, before the girlies, because I know how people feel about the accidental pregnancy, but y'all, this one was good. This one was good, y'all. And you know what, I'm gonna take full responsibility because I was always the type to say I don't want to read an accidental pregnancy, but y'all, this book, oh my gosh, has made me change my mind. I gave it a 4 stars. Also, I gave both of those in the Chestnut Spring series 5 stars. Like please, come on, let's be real. Let's be real here. But yes, and this one also is it like represents disabilities, and it's just so freaking cute. But you have Win and Bo, and they end up having a one-night stand at a party, and obviously she gets pregnant. A few months pass, she reaches out to him, and yeah, Bo is like literally so sweet, so kind. He is like all in. He is not the type, you know, to be like, well, this is your problem. You know, he is very supportive and pretty much like lets her become dependent on him. And for a while they obviously are only friends, like just co-parents, or the plan is to be co-parents while she's she's only pregnant at the time. But it turns into such a beautiful love story, and it is a slow burn, so be prepared. I read a lot of slow burns tonight now that I think about it, because even Heartless and Flawless is slow burns. But yes, it is a slow burn, so be prepared for that. But like I said, it was such a beautiful story. I love Bo, I love Win, and then even their friends. Yeah, guys, just read it. I think it's actually on Kindle Unlimited also, if you guys want to check on there. But I highly do recommend it. Okay, and then next I actually read this one for a book club, and it's The Summer of Broken Rules, and this one has been on my TBR for so long, and I kept always putting it off to like, oh, I'm gonna read it in the summer, and then I didn't put it on my summer TBR. So then when I saw it as like the book club pick of the month, I was like, okay, this is gonna force me to read it. And y'all, I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. It was just so cute. It actually reminds me a lot of Every Summer After, but not like the plot or anything like that, just the vibes, like the summer vibes and all of that. That is what I loved about it. And so this one, what's her name, Claire, no, Meredith. So the main character is Meredith, and then you have, what is the guy's name? They call him, he has a nickname, Wit. They call him Wit. So you have Meredith, they call her Mare, and you have Wit. I honestly don't even know what his real name was, but that's what they call him. And so they go to, they don't know each other in the beginning, but Meredith and her family, they always go to this place. Basically, it's a vineyard, and her and like her entire family, so like her uncles, her aunts, her cousins, her grandparents actually live there like all year round. So they all end up going down there, and for the last 2 years, her and her parents actually didn't go because of a tragic event that happened. So they just didn't go for like the past like 2 summers, I think. But they go back, and they actually go back, and one of the cousins is having a wedding there. So it's like all wedding activities, and you know, you have all the cousins there, just all the summer fun. And she ends up meeting Wit, and Wit is actually one of the groomsmen for the groom. Actually, he's the step brother of the groomsman, and he's one of the step brother of the groom and one of the groomsmen. Like, he's one of the groomsmen. And so Mary and Wit decide to make an alliance almost, because there's this game that the family always plays called Assassin. And essentially what it is you get someone, well, someone is like your target, and your goal is to like take them out with a water gun. And so once like you take them out, they have to give you their target, and so on and so on. And then you end up like the last day or something, or like the last event before the wedding, they do like whoever is left, the last 3 people left, end up, you know, basically going into a battle to like whoever wins. It sounds like a very fun game. It's a lot of tension around it. Like they take it very seriously. Like you have people who get mad about this game, but it's just literally all summer fun. And so her and Whit secretly make an alliance because she already has an alliance with her cousins. Like they already like make a plan every year. So she secretly decides to like do this because he knows a lot of the groom party, since obviously the groom is the one being married in, so she doesn't know a lot of them. And then him being the brother of the groom, he doesn't know a lot of the bride's family, which is her family. So that's how they like kind of help each other. Like, okay, I know these people, you know these people, so if I get someone I don't know, you will tell me who it is, all of that good stuff. And so yeah, that's basically what it's all about. But you also see how Mare and Whit make a friendship, and turns it more to a friendship. And then the summer ends, and you know, things just come to the surface, and it's like, well, you know, the obvious is there. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was such a, like I said, such a cute summer read. And it actually breaks it up into like days, so like they're there for a week, and like you can read all of Sunday, then all of Monday, which that was my initial plan, but then it got so good I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna keep reading. So yeah, it's so, like I said, so freaking cute. I don't know how many times I can call it cute, but it's really cute, guys, and I highly recommend that you read it. The next book was A Flicker in the Dark, and I ended up doing a Instagram poll, and I chose 3 different genres of books. So this was a thriller book that was chosen. Originally I did plan to vlog it, but y'all, the way that book slump was slumping, it just I just knew I couldn't stick with it. So I'm sorry. Y'all was gonna get a reading vlog this month, or I guess for the month of July, but I didn't finish it, so yeah. But I did read the books that you guys did choose on Instagram. So like I said, the first one was A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham, and it was good. I will say I felt like it dragged on for so long, and then there was like so much high like intensity where, y'all, I went on Goodreads and I was like intentionally like looking for a spoiler. Like I went on Goodreads and typed in the book and looked at the reviews, and I was like squinting my eyes, like pretending like I didn't want to see it, but I wanted to see it because I was just so tired of like constantly waiting and waiting and waiting to see what the twist was. And so I did kind of already know the twist when it happened, but definitely did not change my rating, because I did intentionally go look for it, and I only like got a small piece, so I still didn't know, like, even though I like knew the big twist, I guess you can say, I still didn't get all of it, because there were more parts to the twist. I just got like one piece of the twist from the spoiler that I saw. But I did end up giving it 3 stars, because now looking back, like I just feel like it dragged on for so long. Like usually, like, yes, I do want angst, I do want like that like intense feeling of where like I have to know what happened, but it was just like to a point I was just like, I can't take this no more. Like I need something to keep reading this, because I think I was just so close to ready to be like, okay, you know what, it's taking too long for me to get to it. But yeah, I did enjoy it. I just, as a thriller, it only was given like 3 stars. I feel like if it was, I can't even say if it was another genre, I would have gave it another star. But yeah, that's just, you know, they don't all hit. But then next is a book I actually read on my Kindle, and I'll put it here, but I read Into the Tide by Laura Pavlov, and this is the first book I read by her. I kept seeing it all over Instagram, and I'm in like my hometown series thing, and so one of her books, I believe, is actually one of the books that like was free to download, and so I was like, you know, let me just go ahead and try to read it. I was still kind of like, I wanted to still stay in my my small town romance because I had read Flawless and I had read Heartless, and so I was like, well, I didn't want to continue the Chestnut Springs series yet because I was like, I just don't want to like not have anything until the next book comes out, until Hopeless comes out. So that's how my mind works. So I was like, well, hey, let me just find another series. So I read that one and I actually really did enjoy it. I gave it 4 stars. And it's the Cotton Cove book. It's the first book of the Cotton Cove series. She has 2 other series, which I downloaded those books and I'm super excited to dive into those. But yes, it's like the cutest little romance. The main female character, y'all, I don't have the book to like be looking for names, but the main female character, she's from there and she ends up leaving for college, but then she comes back for the summer before she goes into like the real adult world. She has a job lined up waiting for her, but she comes home to like to see her dad and to just spend time with friends before, you know, obviously she goes back to Chicago. And the guy it's a brother's best friend romance. So yeah. And obviously it's the overprotective brother, and you know, you can't know, it's a secret, but it was so, like I said, it was so cute. And the brother actually, like, he very much trusts his friends. Like, even when they were kids, like, they have all been protective of her. And so when she comes, she actually ends up staying with him. She stays with the brother's best friend while she's there, like in his Costa or something. It's like a little separate house, so she stays in there. So they obviously end up spending a lot of time together because now they're in the same house. And yeah, but super cute. So each book, I think, covers the siblings of the brother's best friend, which I forget their last names, but it's like 5 or 6 of them. And so I think each book covers one of them. So yes, I truly enjoyed it. Like I said, I gave it 4 stars. And I do see myself definitely picking up the second book. The third book just released this month, so I'll probably try to do the second book sometime in August. So we'll see. And then next I read the other Kindle book I read, which I'll put it here. I read Anti-Hero by Sarah Kate, and the only other book I've read by her so far is Highest Bidder. I am planning to start, what's the first one? Praise in the Salacious Club series soon. But yeah, so this was the second book I read by her, and I did enjoy it. I gave it 4 stars as well. And this one was like a church setting book. So the main male character is the son of one of like the most famous pastors in Texas, and then the main female character is actually the manager or something of a sex club. And so the way they end up having to connect is all for revenge purposes. And so it gets a little crazy, but eventually, you know, they actually, you know, form a good friendship and then turn into a relationship. But yeah, I love Sarah Kate's writing. I love her smut writing. It's not like, it's not giving ick is really what I can say. And yeah, I love how it's still there was still a very good plot to it. Because they both have people they're trying to get revenge at, and so you get to see how that happens for them with even like their relationship building. So yes, I highly recommend that one. Okay, and then the next book that you guys chose from like the little Instagram post, which I'll probably put them here like so you guys can see what options had won. But the fantasy one was The Shadow Between Us, and this one has also been on my TBR for a while. And y'all, I'm so glad I finally read it. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. It's definitely giving YA fantasy, and it's very simple to understand. I don't think this is going to be, well, no, I actually think there is a second book coming out, but it doesn't come out for a while, and I think it probably can be read as a standalone. But yes, it was so quick and easy to read. I love like sometimes when I want a fantasy book but I don't feel like diving into a series, because y'all know series are a big commitment in these fantasy books, and usually the first book is a lot of world building, so you really don't really get into the plot until like the second book. And I was like, no, I just want a fast-paced book that I can get right into. And so this one won, and yeah, I like what was I finna say? I just lost my train of thought. But this one is basically Alexandra, I think that's how you say her name. So this world, basically the fathers try to have their daughter marry someone with power and influence and money to basically inherit, so they can inherit things, or inherit, you know, whatever, that kind of world. And so, but it also has to go like in order. So like the oldest daughter has to get married first before like the next daughter goes. Like they have it. That's how it works. That's the world or whatever. And so now her older sister has gotten married. Now it is her turn, and she makes a mission to get attention from the Shadow King, which is the king at the time, and they call him the Shadow King because he like has shadows around him. And so she actually successfully does that, and she has her own motive as to why she wants to be the king's chosen one. It's not for the same as her father's, and that actually drives a wedge between them two. But yes, she ends up gaining the king's like notice or whatever you want to call it, and she moves to the palace to, like, he's basically courting her, and it's like the process of, like, honestly I would say it's dating. Just in our world it's like dating, but it obviously is much more formal. And yeah, and so you get to see how all that happens, and how, like, what her plan is and why that's her plan, and how her dad plays into this. Also even how her sister plays into it, because her and her sister don't have the best relationship. And meanwhile the Shadow King also has his, like, so many people live in the castle because his parents were killed, and so everyone that was in the palace at the time or something lives there also, because he's trying to narrow it down to who killed his parents. So he has that going on, and then Alexandra comes, and yeah, so it's a lot. But like I said, it's very quick pace. It's one book, it's YA, so it's not like nowhere near difficult to understand. It's just easy to get through, and I really enjoyed that about it. Okay, but then next I read, where is it? I read His and Hers by Alice Feeney. And if you guys know, I don't know, or you know, whatever, I read Rock Paper Scissors by her, I think in February, and I absolutely loved it. Y'all, I can say she was one of my, like, she's one of my favorite, like, mystery thriller writers. But y'all, I'm so sad to say it, but this one did not do it for me. I gave it 3 stars, y'all. I gave it 3 stars, and it hurt my heart to do that, because it was a very good book, but the twist just was not twisting for me. Like, and it's like I didn't expect it, but it's also because I felt like I wasn't giving what I needed to expect it, or like to even guess it. I feel like that's what really got me on this one. And even then, the twist was not what I wanted. It just didn't hit. It was like, I felt like the twist could have been better. Like, yeah, I just feel like it could have been so much better. And so that's why I gave it a 3 stars. But like I said, in the moment when I was reading it, it was very good, very suspenseful. I wanted to keep reading it. I didn't have a moment where I was like, oh, I want to put it down. And so yeah, it's just the fact of, I think if I liked the twist, it could have been a 4 stars. I don't see it being 5 stars. But yeah, the twist got me, and I just was like, I gotta knock it down. So as much as I didn't want to, I think I was a little y'all, this month I was like very strict with my 5-star reads. Like, I was like, not every book is getting, if you didn't give me the feeling of how I felt when I was reading Heartless and Flawless, you didn't get 5 stars. I'm sorry. And I think only 3 books got 5 stars for me this month, which is weird, because y'all, I'm usually like, this is 5 stars, this is 5 stars, this is 5 star, and that was not me this month. I was like, you don't deserve my 5 stars. Y'all, I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to be mean about that, but yeah, you know, I just, and obviously these are my opinions, so you know, somebody else may have really truly liked it. It just wasn't, like I said, it just wasn't for me. It just wasn't for me. But the last book I read, which I think that's all of them, is this a 12th book? Okay, I think this is a 12th book. But this was also one of the options that you guys chose for the Instagram. This is the last one, actually. But I read Behind the Net by Stephanie Archer, and guys, I love this book. I loved it so much. Y'all, for some reason hockey players just do it for me. I don't know what it is about hockey players. Like, first of all, I've always only read golden retriever hockey players, which there is one book, it's called Until I Get You or something, and I think it's supposed to be like a dark hockey romance, and I have it and I do want to read it. But every like hockey romance I've read, the guy is always golden retriever and he gives me butterflies and I'm always blushing, and I love it. And that's what this one did. The way they actually meet, well, they knew each other, but they don't admit that they know each other, because they actually went to the same high school. And so when she ends up becoming his assistant, because he's like obviously he's a big hockey player and he needs help, he has a mom that he worries about, so like all his focus goes on her. So he really needed somebody to walk, like he has a dog, so he needed somebody to take care of his home so he could focus on his mom. And so she ends up being his assistant, and she like knows him, and he didn't know who his assistant was going to be. So when she comes up to his door, he is very blindsided, but he acts like he has no idea who she is. And you can kind of say, yes, definitely a little bit of grumpy sunshine. But I wouldn't even say he's just grumpy though. He's just more so caught off guard, and he's just so in his head because he's always like liked her and she has always liked him. But yeah, you definitely get to see them open up to each other, and they just form a really good friendship / relationship as time goes on. And I love that. I wouldn't even say it's insta love, because it's definitely not insta love, but it does happen pretty fast, but it's not annoyingly fast, if that makes any kind of sense. So yes, and it's part of the Vancouver Storm series, and I believe there's going to be a next book, and I really hope it's about one of the other, I'm pretty sure it's going to be about one of the other, no, it's not going to be, yes, it is going to be one of the other hockey players, but it's actually going to be the female character's sister, if I remember correctly. And I cannot wait to read it, and that one is also on Kindle Unlimited if you guys want to check that out. I think actually all of these books except The Summer of Broken Rules, I think this is the only one that is not on Kindle Unlimited. So definitely take advantage of that if you guys want to read any of these. But overall, oh, did I say, I think I gave it, did I say I gave it 4 stars? 4 stars is what I gave it. So yes, that is all the books I read. I am done rambling. I do want to say though, y'all, so I was hoping that I would finish this before before the month was over with, before July was over with, but I did not. But I am currently reading Say You Swear by Megan Brandy, and y'all, your girl is stressed. Your girl is stressed. I read it during my lunch, and y'all, I was crying and then had to go back to my desk after my lunch was over with. And y'all, I cannot wait for my reading wrap up for August, because be prepared, I'm going to talk about that book for like 10 minutes. I can guarantee you that. So you guys got a little sneak peek of what I'm already reading in August. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you read this month and what were some of your 5-star reads. And if you made it to this point in the video, let me know your most anticipated read for the month of August, because I think I have a lot. I definitely want to start the Silo series. So I want to start the Silo series. I also want to start Red Rising. There's some more. I think I want to read Love in Other Words finally this month. That was on my summer TBR. So yeah, I have a lot of hopefuls, but we'll see which ones I actually read, and I'm gonna get you guys some reading vlogs this month for sure. But yeah, I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.